Hey guys, Eric Hoven here along with Ralph Stream, the director and producer of the Genesis 3D movie, and it's time for a December 2014 update. If you don't already know, the Genesis 3D movie is an experience for people. So instead of simply reading from the Bible, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, we want you to experience, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. And Ralph, I think that's exactly what you're accomplishing with this film. I couldn't be more excited about working on a project than this. What are your thoughts overall? You've spent the last 4.5 years on this project, and you got a little bit more time to go. But what are your thoughts now in the middle of this film?
Well, you know, it's amazing because, 4.5 years, it's a long time. And, we probably have like, another year plus to go. And so I was feeling a little bit bad about that until a friend said, hey, don't feel bad. I heard that the average film takes 7 years to do. So I was like,
true.
Okay, you know what, we actually might still finish this under time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Got a verse here for you that I think you'll appreciate. It's from 1 Corinthians 1:27. You know it. God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And when I think of what Hollywood does, and the movies they produce that do not in any way glorify God, they are being used literally by Satan to lead people astray. Yeah. And I think of what
even so-called Christian ones.
Yeah, a lot of
Noah,
times.
Exodus, all those.
Exactly,
movies,
it's tragic.
Yeah.
And so when I think of what you're doing and what we're working on with this Genesis movie, I go, this applies. It's not the biggest budget, and I want to give you a budget update here in just a second, but it's something that is going to be used to confound the wise. I think God is going to use it to do that.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. I mean, that's been our goal from the very beginning. Was we want to make something that is absolutely amazing, that brings Genesis to life, but also teaches people the truth, and gives them the science and shows them that the Bible is completely accurate and 1,000% dependable.
And it really is, and that's what this is going to depict. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Just to give you an update on a budget, if you remember, a little over a year ago, we began an Indiegogo campaign. Now, Ralph, this took a lot of time to actually accomplish. Crowdfunding, you think you just throw something out there and it happens.
No.
It took about 4 months of time from beginning to end to really plan
Probably
this thing out.
5 months,
to do it. So we were working on the project, but at the same time trying to raise the next step of funds to make this happen. And we were blown away. It's kind of funny because when we originally wrote the budget for this production, it's an $800,000 production budget, and anything under $1 million is considered low budget. So we're in the low budget category.
Even 1 million these days is still low budget.
Yeah. So we decided, because no Indiegogo campaign had ever done $1 million, we thought let's aim low.
Yeah.
And we've kind of been kicking ourselves ever since.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of saying, God, we should have trusted you for the full budget.
16, 17 days into it, and we already made the $150,000
I put it on a slide for you.
There you go.
So we had 27 days left, and we had actually just after this reached the $150,000 goal. I didn't get a screenshot of that one. But we had reached the first goal that we set at $150,000 in just 16 days.
And we would have absolutely been able to, I think, made at least half of our $800,000 goal easily. But once you hit this,
people think you're there.
They think you're there.
Even though in the description we said, hey, here's where we're going. Well, let me just tell you what happened for those of you who don't know or didn't get to experience this joy, this thrill ride with us of God just saying, here, make it happen. We had people from over 25 different countries donate to help the Genesis movie go. Over 2,000 people got involved in the campaign to turn Genesis, which is history, into a historical event in a DVD.
In its own sense, yeah.
Yeah, and in the theater. So we're really excited about that. By the end of our campaign, we had raised a little over $270,000 of the budget. And it was kind of interesting. We thought to ourselves, well, what could we do if we don't get enough money? And we knew, hey, we can get the film at least complete, even though it wouldn't have everything we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Then, over this last year, based on the success of the Indiegogo campaign and the continued fundraising that we've been able to do, right now, just so you know, we're just a little bit over the $375,000 mark in funds raised. And God has allowed us to do a lot. So I want to thank you for your patience, and then I want to share with you what God's done over this last year. Ralph, have you seen the comments on, I know you're working a lot, but there's been a couple people commenting on Indiegogo and Facebook, and they go, hey, where's my DVD? I thought I was going to get a DVD as a perk. You are.
Movie
Ralph,
has to kind of be done.
oh, that's why. I was going to say, do you want to let them know why they don't have their DVD yet?
Yeah. The movie has to be complete, obviously. But on the other side of it too, people have been patient waiting for other things too, like posters and other things like that. But obviously, there's so much that has to be done before you can even make a poster. You can do some of these other things that we're trying to get out to them when we're done with the film. So
so we're super excited about it. But yes, thank you guys so much for your patience. It's a tedious process, but your patience, I'm telling you, is going to pay off big time.
Yeah.
We're not at liberty to kind of go into the details of this. However, I can tell you that we've recently been, or over the past probably 6 months, been talking with a company that is willing to invest a large sum of money into a 4D theater if they can get the licensing rights for Genesis 3D, which, of course, I think is going to be
amazing.
If you don't know what a 4D theater is, it's a place that literally while you're watching something in 3D, you also have a fourth dimension experience, and that's the environment around you.
Yeah.
Whether that's hot air or cold air, depending on what's happening in the movie, or water spraying on you.
Shaky seats.
The sheets rumble, and you're like, who did that? It's just it turns it into a real experience.
And this would be exclusive, too. So this place would be basically playing Genesis every day, 7 days a week, in this 4D theater. I mean, this would be huge,
huge.
It
really would. Now, in order to accomplish that, though, we really had to guarantee that we're going to full budget with this thing, and the full budget is $800,000. So we are going all the way up to that. And while you're being patient, I also want you to understand that we don't have all the different employees that the Hollywood would have.
Right.
I mean, when you think of all the different, I just listed a couple things here for you. And I'm sure you could give me a much bigger list, but I was like, man, when you think of people that normally do all the budgeting and the accounting and the color correction and everything that goes into this, you've got about 6 guys that are working under you. But that's all movie production stuff.
Right.
And at the same time, we're handling the business side of it.
It's funny. I was reading some statistics on movies recently, and Interstellar, the Christopher Nolan movie that just recently came out, would cost about $170 million, and it's 170 minutes. So it's $1 million per minute. So you figure that we're, with less than $1 million, we're going to make a 90-minute movie.
Wow.
So, that alone right there is mind-blowing. But then also you have to figure that, a movie like that's got about 300 people working on it. So if you take the humble 6 to 8 people roughly on average, that we have working on the movie at any given point, divide 300 by that, and that's how many hats we're wearing, each one of us, So it makes it difficult, but we're trudging through, and it's really looking amazing. In fact, I have a special announcement at the end, so definitely stick around to see that, because you're going to be in for a treat.
You definitely have a treat for him. I haven't seen this, so I want to see this. Well, over the past year, we've been privileged to work with a lot of different people. We've been able to talk with and work with Alex Kendrick and the Kendricks brothers, getting advice on the project, as well as several other companies. We actually have a lot of companies approaching the Genesis movie project now, saying, "Hey, what can we do to be a part of this?" And so I'm really excited about the people that God is literally bringing to our attention to say, hey, God is doing something here. I want to be a part of this.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
I did get a chance, speaking of 4D, as we talked about earlier, I got a chance to go up to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and experience a little bit of their 4D theater to find out, hey, is this something that the Genesis movie should get involved in? Should we go for this 4D experience? And I filmed a little clip from the theater there, right outside the theater after I was done, and you can check out what I said here. Well, guys, we just experienced the wonderful world of chocolate. Reese's is my favorite, in the 4D theater here at Hershey Park. They say you can look online and see some of the different things that they've got to show how they did it, some of the behind the scenes, but this 4D theater was amazing. It actually interacted with the audience. So while you're sitting there, you're interacting with the characters. It was phenomenal. You had streamers and stuff, bubbles falling down from the sky, water coming on you, seats vibrating. All the time you're solving a mystery. It was quite an experience to visit this 4D theater here. I think the Genesis movie would be a phenomenal 4D theater experience. So I can't wait to take this to the guys who want to do it and tell them all about it. Thanks again for your prayers. Well, as you can see, we think that this film going to theaters would be, it would be incredibly valuable, not just to people's intellect, but to their spiritual life. I think God will use this film in an incredibly powerful way to literally bring people to Christ. When I was talking to Todd Friel, and he got to see some of the 3D preview. Todd Friel is from Wretched Radio, and he said, Eric, I got to tell you, this is something that people will want to bring their unsaved friends to, just to experience the truth that they're going to experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's in a stunning way.
Yeah, well, what brought me to ultimately meet you and do a Creation Minute and then get into this was just my mind being blown by the types of materials that your ministry was putting out. And this movie is like basically that, I don't even know the word, but
times a lot.
Exactly, times like infinity. I mean, this movie is going to be the absolute pinnacle on delivery of those messages that blew my mind and will blow other people's minds, and completely show them that they've been lied to, that their worldview is false most often, even with Christians. You asked him the other day in that interview that you did. I mean, most Christians are confused. They don't even know. Yeah, they don't know what to believe. They don't even know if they can. Well, maybe I know there's a God, but maybe He used evolution or things like that. And once you're believing that way, there's just so much that you're missing from the Word. So anyway, on any level, this movie I just know is just going to be absolutely incredible, and it's going to change, I pray, millions of people's lives.
Amen to that.
And we're so close.
We are. Let me give you guys a budget update real quick. I told you we are just about at the $375,000 mark. And Ralph, you promised them another freebie.
A big one.
When we hit the $400,000 mark in funds raised. Can you tell them about that?
Well, this one is unlike any other unlock that we have done. This is huge. This has got to be the biggest unlock by a landslide. If you didn't see the last update, what we're doing is we're going to show you guys the actual a portion of the movie, like you'll see it in theaters. You can see 5, 10, or 15 minutes, depending on if you just give any amount for 5 minutes, 1,000 for 10, and 2,500 for 15. And we'll be doing that sometime in January after we tally things up. Now, obviously, we're trying to get to the $400,000 goal before then. So that's a big part of us trying to raise the funds right now. So
if we make that by the end of the year, you're promising them 5 minutes of the movie for anybody who donates.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is any new donation they can watch. What if they only donate $5?
Yep.
They can watch 5 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right? It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm very excited.
And then we will look for it to go to theaters, go to Blu-ray, go to all that other stuff that it's going to happen when the movie is complete.
Yes.
You mentioned that because of the 4D, we're having to extend the deadline of when our project was going to be done. And give them an update on that real quick.
Sure. That's the difficult thing. I know that a lot of our supporters are always disappointed when they hear that, it's going to take a little bit longer. Oh, man. Our heart's probably broken even more because we hate to do that. But again, like Eric was saying before, we don't have tens of millions of dollars like most studios do. So when they set a date, they've got all the money and the manpower in the world to make sure that they can accomplish that date. Well, we don't have that. So that's already difficult. But in this talk about what we're going to do with this 4D theater, the negotiation. Obviously, we're going to have to go in and do some special things for the theater specifically. We might even have to go and change a few things, and it's going to push our production date out, possibly by up to 6 months.
Okay.
So,
But at the end, it's going to be worth it.
It's going to be totally worth it, and our supporters can still feel completely confident that yes, it took longer, but these guys did even more than we thought they were going to do with it, and hopefully even more lives will be changed for Christ.
I'm telling you, this is really, really exciting. You mentioned that you've got. I want to tell the people that are watching this update to ask them to do 3 things, and then you said. You got a surprise for them?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, 3 things we'd like you to ask you to do. Number 1 is prayer. I cannot tell you how many times.
Oh, man.
And I don't want to get too much into your personal life,
okay.
But I just want you guys to know that Ralph's wife Rachel has really been battling some serious sickness lately, and it's really difficult to try to put in the number of hours that you put in on a project and take care of a sick wife. They found out that, can I let them know? They found out that his wife, when she went to Africa on a missions trip, she ended up getting some parasites and came back, and this has been really difficult to deal with.
And it's been a year too. We finally think that we have tackled the parasites that she got over there in Africa, but then now there might be a byproduct of that.
The Bible says the fervent prayers of a righteous man availeth much. So for those of you that are believers, that are Christians, we literally covet, we beg you to pray for Ralph specifically, for his wife. Her name is Rachel. Pray for Rachel. Pray for even coming down to the hardware. In the last month, you've had three different setbacks just with hardware failures, that things have been running fine for 3 years, and then right before a big meeting that we were going to have with somebody,
biggest one.
Biggest meeting, it goes down, and that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, hugely. I mean, we're being attacked on all fronts. I mean, it feels to me at least like, the devil is watching the progress of this, and the closer we get to completing this, the more he's cranking up the heat, and we're feeling it on every level.
Wow.
So prayer, for sure, is huge for us.
That is the number one thing we could ask you to do, is pray. If you would put this on your church's prayer list and ask your church to pray about this. If you have a prayer circle, would you guys please just pray about this? A good way to do that, if you believe in the power of prayer, I don't want to ask you to spend 30 minutes a day or anything like that, but when you get our updates, or if you're on our Facebook and we throw something out there, whenever we throw something out there on Facebook, or if you've gone to genesismovie.com and you put in your email address to get the updates, if you would just, when you get those, if you just spend at least 30 seconds praying for the Genesis movie and what we're accomplishing, we can't tell you how big that is. That is the biggest thing anybody could do right there, is prayer.
Huge,
Second thing I want to ask you to do is help support the project. We'd love to make it to the halfway point, to the $400,000 mark. And when you guys get there, at least if we get there by the end of the year, you're making a big promise on 5 minutes of the film. That's pretty cool. And then third thing is just simply spread the word. We've actually got flyers available at those aren't on Genesis Movie. I'll add those to the Genesis Movie website. But we've got flyers that you can order that have on one side a mini size of the poster. On the other side, it's got several endorsements, and it just encourages people to go to genesismovie.com, because we find when people go there, they see the vision of what you're doing, and they want to get behind that. They want to be helped. But a lot of people just don't know. So whether you want to order some flyers or some business cards, we've got both of those available that we'd be more than happy to let you, if you can cover the cost of shipping those to yourself, we will get those out to you so you can hand them out. And it's funny, the reason we have to do that, we've given, I guess you know this, a couple years ago, we did a Valentine's giveaway where we gave away a free DVD, and we're shipping them all over the world. And come to find out, the Atheists got a hold of this, and they were putting on their atheist blogs, hey, go and order these, use them as a coaster for your drink or something. Just try to take all the resources that they have through this free offer. So don't put it past the atheists to do something like that. So if you'd provide the shipping cost on that, we'd appreciate that. But those three things: prayer, number one, most important. Financially, we really want to get to this halfway mark, and we'll give a great unlock for you. And then third is share this with your friends and with your family, and we got some great creative ways you can do that. Nothing helps us more than you spreading the word on social media, or using flyers, or telling your church about it and telling others about this incredible project. So we certainly appreciate that. Now, Rob, you said you had a surprise for us here at the end of this update.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So I'm ready to hear about this.
Well, we've been talking about the 5, 10, 15 minutes that people can watch, and we thought, you know what? Our supporters have been so patient. And they have given us so much that we thought, you know what? We won't wait till January. We'll go ahead and show them a minute and a half right now.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Well, is there anything else you want to say before that minute and a half? Because I want to see the minute and a half.
I think they're dying to get to it. So let's go ahead and let them see it.
All right. Hey, guys, thanks for letting us give you an update. Enjoy this minute and a half of the Genesis 3D movie.
The way you'll see it in theaters.
But in the secular world, they said, no, there's no Adam and Eve. And a lot of kids are duped into believing that. The secular world teaches that you evolved from some ape-like ancestor, that there was no Adam and Eve. Oh, and since there's no Adam and Eve, well, then there was no fall into sin, which means there's no need for a Savior. So see, the secular anthropology not only does it attack the authority of the Bible, it attacks the very gospel itself.
And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our